That we're seeing just might be as recent as the fall. You know, on your point, Peter, when you talk about this is a man obsessed with his image, and while he was obsessed enough to watch himself being broadcast around the world.
About all this is that, you know, bin Laden has long very carefully tended his public image.
You know, on your point, Peter, when you talk about this is a man obsessed with his image.
You know, bin Laden has long very carefully tended his public image.
You know, on your point, Peter, when you talk about this is a man obsessed with his image. This is a man obsessed with his image. And while he was obsessed enough to watch himself being broadcast around the world.
There's no audio, but what there are glimpses of Osama.
Is a picture of bin Laden, which is rather curious. It shows him with a very dark black beard. That's the picture on the right. His last appearance in October 2004, he had a very gray beard.
This is a man obsessed with his image. And while he was obsessed enough to watch himself being broadcast around the world, this is a man obsessed with his image. This is a man obsessed with his image.
I finally meet bin Laden. This photograph is my record of an extraordinary meeting. Bin Laden claims it was his followers who forced American troops to leave Somalia in 1993. He saves his most chilling comment for his final address to the camera.
لأنني أؤكد ما ذكرت من قبل أنه ينبغي على جميع الشباب.
I confirm that all the youth and the whole nation should concentrate their efforts on the Americans and the Zionists.
على الأمريكان واليهود. فهم رأس.
Because they are the head of the spear that has been pointed at the nation and delivered into the nation's heart, and that every effort concentrated on the Americans and the Zionists will bring good, direct and positive results. Therefore, if someone can kill an American soldier, it is better than wasting his energy on other matters. Therefore, if someone can kill an American soldier, it is better than wasting his energy on other matters. Therefore, if someone can kill an American soldier, therefore, if someone can kill an American soldier, therefore, if someone can kill an American soldier.
If you were President of the United States and the intelligence community said to you, we know where Osama bin Laden is. He's in Pakistan. We've got the specific target, but he's only going to be there for 20 minutes. You got to give the order, yes or no, to take him out with a Hellfire missile, but it's going to kill some innocent civilians at the same time. What would be your decision?
Osama bin Laden has declared war on us, killed 3,000 people, and under existing law, including international law, when you've got a military target like bin Laden, you take him out. And if you have 20 minutes, you do it swiftly and surely.
Standing who understands that 9/11 is not a way to scare up votes, but a challenge that should unite America and the world against the common threats of the 21st century.
Over my 8 years in office, we dramatically increased our generation of clean energy. We acted dramatically to curtail our use of dirty energy. And we invested in energy efficiency across the board. In Paris, working with people like Matteo, we helped to lead the world to the first significant global agreement for a low-carbon future. But here's the thing, even if every country somehow puts the brakes on the emissions that exist today, climate change would still have an impact on our world for years to come. Our changing climate is already making it more difficult to produce food. We've already seen shrinking yields. In fact, some of the refugee flows into Europe originate not only from conflict, but also from places where there are food shortages that will get far worse as climate change continues.
Osama bin Laden viewed global climate change through a religious lens and was concerned about its impacts on poor and vulnerable Muslims worldwide. The document, which is a letter addressed to My Islamic Nation, was one of about 100 documents the Office of the DNI says were recovered during the 2011 Special Forces raid in Pakistan, during which the al-Qaeda leader was killed. Bin Laden spoke of the obligation of Western countries and Muslims alike to come to the aid of poor populations affected by climate impacts, with a specific focus of victims of widespread flooding in Pakistan. The references to Pakistan suggest the document was written in 2010.
These ads is that 15 of the 19 hijackers are from Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabian money funded 9/11, the attack. And it's the thing we still tiptoe around that we don't really talk about. Right. What exactly was the Saudi involvement in this attack? And was it in fact a military attack against the United States? Not a bunch of crazed terrorists running around the desert, but actual...
Well, now that's a conspiracy. That's a theory I hadn't even heard.
And by bowing, he showed the world that I am subservient. I do bow down to you as a Muslim king, something no other president has done with Saudi Arabia. But Obama went beyond what is required as a head of state and bowed to the Saudi king, and that's unacceptable. It sent the wrong symbol.
When you say it sends the wrong signal, what signal do you think it sends?
It sent a message that Islam is superior to any other master or king or president in the world, that an American president bound to a Muslim king. It also sent a message that terrorism and jihadism is giving Islam the respect it should have on the world stage, to the point that it made an American president, for the first time in history, bow to a Muslim king.
You may also remember that the media sometimes would say that Obama sympathizes with the Palestinians instead of the Israelis. And this news was especially targeted at Muslims, especially on, for example, on the media of Iran and many other Middle Eastern countries. But in Iran in particular, I remember on Channel 2, before Obama was elected, they were saying that the Zionists are trying to prevent Obama from becoming president because he sympathizes with the Palestinians.
Former President Obama's parting shot. It's the Obama administration quietly releasing $221 million to the Palestinian Authority, defying two Republican lawmakers who had already placed a hold on the funds.
I think this told you a lot about the difference between President Obama and President Trump, in the sense that Obama is a hardline ideologue and a rhetorician. Trump is a practical man who wants to get things done. So President Obama always idealized the Palestinians, and so that's part of it. Ideologically, he was always farther left than people realized.
إلى إخواننا في فلسطين نقول لهم إن دماء أبنائكم هي دماء أبنائنا وإن دماءكم دماءنا فالدم الدم والهدم الهدم ونشهد الله العظيم أننا لن نخذلكم حتى يتم النصر.
The president of the United States that has most been controlled by the Jews, and willingly so, has been Bill Clinton. And he's with Rabbi Menachem Ganach, head of the Union of Orthodox Jewish Congregations. Clinton's intriguing kinship, not just friendship, kinship with the Jews. Many people believe that Bill Clinton was in fact Jewish. Hillary Clinton, during the final year of the Clinton administration, she actually admitted that she was Jewish. Hillary Clinton made many of these same kind of admissions when she was running for senator in New York. Hillary Rodham Clinton is Jewish. She says she is. And it's been in all the New York newspapers. Here again we have a picture of Bill and Hillary Clinton worshiping together.
I have been and will continue to be a very strong supporter of Israel. We stand with Israel. We guarantee Israel's security. That is a policy that will never change.
The way to continue our fight now, to accomplish the goals for which we stand, is to take our energy, our passion, our strength, and do all we can to help elect Barack Obama the next President of the United States. I endorse him and throw my full support behind him.
The Israeli paper Ma'ariv, that's one of the largest circulation newspapers, daily newspapers in Israel today, boasts of Jewish control of U.S. government. Basically, it says Clinton's administration is run by Jews. It's a Jewish administration. There is author on the left is Arthur Levitt, chairman of the Securities and Exchange Commission. He's supposed to be in charge of watching the Wall Streeters. Stuart Eisenstadt, U.S. ambassador to the European community. There's Madeleine Albright, who discovered she was Jewish. Suddenly, it came out in some newspapers that she was hiding the fact that she was Jewish, and says, oh yes, I have now discovered that I'm Jewish. I didn't know before, she stated. Madeleine Albright. She was a communist, by the way. Her father was a communist. She was a communist. She became Secretary of State under Bill Clinton.
John Kerry was also revealed to have had a Jewish grandfather, right? He too claimed that he didn't know about this. Kerry's grandmother was also Jewish and was related to the famous Kabbalist Jew, Rabbi Judah Leib.
People want innovative, nonpartisan, and especially non-scripted ways of fixing problems. That's what Barack Obama brings to this race. That Barack Obama can be, will be, and should be the next president of the United States.
It is wonderful to be here on this historic occasion. I'm going to be very brief. I did want to come by because this is a time for Israelis, for Jews, and for all friends of Israel to celebrate the realization of a dream and to rededicate ourselves to uplifting the promise of Israel's independence. One of the most joyful moments came 60 years ago this week when the Jewish state of Israel declared independence, a journey that gained new meaning through the work of Zionist leaders like Theodore Herzl. But through these challenges to their state's existence, Israelis have done more than survive. They have forged a brilliant and strong democracy. It is a friendship rooted in shared interests, in shared values, and the shared history among our people. It is supported by a strong and bipartisan consensus in this country that I've been proud to be a part of. And it will withstand any challenge to Israel.
And there were many reports that Obama was supposedly going to be assassinated all throughout his presidency and even before he became president. There were constantly these stories that people were trying to assassinate him. And I showed some of the clips on my old video, how the Illuminati made Obama president, I think on part 7. That people were trying to assassinate him. And there were also many fake conspiracy theories that Obama was going to be assassinated, that he's not going to become president, or that he's going to be assassinated while he's president. And of course, nothing like that happened, but what does that remind you of? Who was the guy who got assassinated? Obama or Osama?
To all sorts of politicians, it's an international conspiracy. When Barack Hussein Obama is assassinated, he will be the 9th president to die while in office. The vice president is Joe Biden. Joe Biden is the 47th vice president. A major clue as to what is coming to Barack Hussein Obama. Again, the word president sums to 47. Joe Biden's the 47th vice president. Put it together.
Absolutely. You know, the bottom line is this. You know, this is when I talk about the Bible. You know, I believe Obama's Antichrist. You know, people can disagree, but I'm going to say it. I believe they're going to set up a fake assassination with him. You know, and he's going to survive. And I believe, you know, this is, you know, I'm biblical. I said this many times where, you know, the Antichrist is going to, basically, he's going to perform false miracles. It says it in Revelation. He's going to perform false miracles.
And here are some screenshots from my old YouTube channel. It's just 7 years ago, but it's actually older than 7 years ago. It's actually from 2008. On my video, Barack Obama is a Zionist Illuminati. On that video, when I predicted that Obama was going to become president, I said that the Zionists had chosen him and that he's actually a Zionist, that he's not their opponent or anything independent or anything like that. On the comments, you can see that people kept saying that he's going to be assassinated, or they were asking, is he going to be assassinated, or they were saying, no, you're wrong. And they're going all the way back to 2001. There were many of these, you know, pro-George Bush, pro-government, so-called Christian, evangelical websites that used to say that Osama bin Laden is the Antichrist, right after 9/11. And it's interesting that later we were told the same thing about Obama.
Most outrageous rumor yet. No bias, no bull tonight in the election center. Wild charges tossed around in this campaign, but this one really got my attention. Barack Obama is the Antichrist. It's pretty hard to beat comparing a candidate to the Antichrist.
Campbell, you never actually hear the word Antichrist in this ad. When you listen to this John McCain ad, it might sound like Barack Obama has a Messiah complex.
Around the internet.
Messages that Barack Obama isn't the Messiah at all.
Maybe Barack Obama is, in fact, the Antichrist.
A Google search for Obama and Antichrist returns an incredible 900,000 hits. Is Obama the Antichrist? 73% of the site's online polls say either yes or maybe.
He literally could be a cosmic Antichrist figure.
So Jesus Christ in his earthly ministry said, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven. So people say, well, that's Jesus saying that Antichrist, the devil, will be like Satan as lightning fall from heaven. Well, if you look at the name Barack Hussein Obama, this name Barack, some people say means blessed. But it ties into a word that means lightning. Isn't that a weird thing? That his name is lightning? Hussein, I believe, ties into Christ. Has a meaning from one of those Arabic languages. And by the way, that is an Arabic name. Isn't that strange? I mean, the man's real name is Barry, so Tero or Sortero, however you pronounce that last name, but he chose to take a Muslim name from his Muslim father. That's interesting. But he's not a Muslim. No. See, everybody says, oh, you're crazy. He's not a Muslim. Okay, so his name means lightning and Christ and Obama. Well, the word...
A fist bump, a pound, a terrorist fist jab.
Do you notice anything unusual about this picture?
There's no Bible.
President Obama has offered to pay out of his own pocket for the Museum of Muslim Culture.
He's more concerned about protecting the image of Islam than protecting the people of the United States.
And we have a president who is aligned with the jihad force.
Barack Obama's emotional attachment to the Muslim world has hurt the USA.
President Obama was soft, almost subservient to the Muslim world.
Deep emotional ties to Islam.
Is this Obama backing ISIS, backing al-Qaeda in Syria? 50 intelligence operatives have gone public. The former head of Defense Intelligence, the general, goes public, says we were ordered to do this. The deputy head of the CIA comes out, says there should be an investigation. Is that not a good sign that the Pentagon does not want to back Saudi Arabia and al-Qaeda in their takeover of the Middle East?
I think it's a sign that the Pentagon, and reference has been made recently to this, has bowed down to Obama just like Obama bowed down to the Saudi king. I said, President Obama, get up off your knees, put the Quran down, and come out with your hands up. He is not for Christians and Jews. He's for Muslims.
ISIS is honoring President Obama. He is the founder of ISIS. He's the founder of ISIS, okay? He's the founder. He founded ISIS.
Trump did address the controversy created by his comments on Second Amendment supporters. He described the media coverage as disgusting. In response to that, the crowd chanted, "Lock them up," as in the media.
It is true. President Obama is a radical Muslim and actually does basically pray to Mecca 5 times a day.
You are absolutely right that John McCain has not talked about my Muslim faith, and you're absolutely right that that has not come my Christian faith. And
a greeting of peace from Muslim communities in my country. Assalamu alaikum. As the Holy Quran tells us, be conscious of God and speak always the truth.
Suggestion that somebody knock off Obama.
All I'm saying about the Patriot Act is that the elected representatives of this country, including Osama, not Obama.
Look at what Barack Obama said just yesterday.
There you go. Why don't we just ask Osama Obama? The important thing is, I don't think he can have much impact now in terms of managing the organization, because that link between Obama and the people under him is pretty fragile. I don't think he has the capacity to do as much harm as he did at one point.
Fortunately, there was a graphic. Instead of saying, "Where's Osama?" it said, "Where's Obama?"
Telling the nation and the world President Obama is in fact dead. It was a U.S.-led Osama bin Laden is dead.
He unveiled details that have never before been heard about how Obama was killed and what led to the American forces finding out where he was.
We know that Pakistan has arrested the doctor who helped us catch Obama's bin Laden.
Hey, yeah, let's kill Obama is all that, bin Laden is all that tough of a call, but.
And coming up on the show, our special edition of the Keller Report continues. Obama bin Laden's death prompts a worldwide security warning amid fears of retaliation.
We still, ladies and gentlemen, if Obama's dead, I don't care. What did I say?
Brandy and Glenn, we were hearing that a U.S. helicopter actually went down near the attack where Obama was killed.
Osama bin Laden, his death, we also now was at work for this occasion.
It says Osama bin Laden, terror mastermind, is reported dead.
On Sunday afternoon, at which the president gave the go-ahead, he got the news later that Obama had been killed.
And everybody is waiting to hear him speak. But this is what we do know at this point. This has been sort of labeled as a situation that deals with national security. What they're calling it is national security.
Now, folks, we understand our sister station are saying that Osama was buried at sea.
You know how they did it? It's because of the self-replicating virus that Osama bin Laden unleashed on the world.
Say that, they take Obama out? I mean...
Now we know the truth about Osama bin Laden, Barack Obama's scare in the air. That story coming up.
John Kerry says he believes Obama is the right person for the job.
Quickly, the report says that Osama bin Laden.
First off, is bin Laden, is Barack Obama right when he says the war on terror, the central location of the war on terror is Afghanistan?
And this other one named Osama or
Obama cannot read.
His administration, of course, ends in less than a week, and Obama's, Bin Laden's attempt.
What you think he meant? That McCain, he might know where Barack Obama is, but he won't go to the cave and get him. And he was saying that Obama would.
Well, on the Democratic side, the Obama-Biden camp continues to campaign.
Since Obama came late to this game in pledging jihads for Palestinians.
Now, it may seem to many people, especially people who support the Democrats, that this was an attempt to bully Barack Obama, or they were doing this to make fun of him or something like that. But no, this was actually done by Obama himself, because if you look at Obama's own posters, you see that it says Obama-Biden. Obama-Biden, that sounds even more like Osama bin Laden. You see, you got Obama and Osama, but then you got Obama-Biden. Why is it written like this? Obama-Biden, Osama bin Laden. Obama-Biden, Osama bin Laden. Do you see? So it's deliberate. This proves that this was not done to mock Obama or make him look bad or make him look like a terrorist. It was actually done to make people like him, because, as I said, the fitra is inclined towards Osama. So when you see Obama-Biden, that actually inclines your fitra towards Obama, and Obama himself knows this. Obama and his administration, the government, the Democrats, they noticed they were actually using this to make him more popular. You see, this is what people need to understand. People don't naturally like the Republicans or the Democrats or the communists or the capitalists or the Zionists or the Satanists or anything like that. They copy the fitra. You originally were inclined towards the right path, but then they try to incline you towards them using lies, by lying about their enemies, and also by copying their enemy, by copying the good guys. You see? So this proves that they themselves were doing this. The Democrats themselves were doing this. It wasn't just the Republicans calling Obama names. No, both the Democrats and the Republicans were part of the same conspiracy, because it's all a stage show. It's all been scripted. It's all fake. Politics is fake. It's all controlled. The Republicans are not there to make you hate Obama. The Republicans are there to make Obama appear like he's the one in your fitra, and that if you still hate him, then they say, yeah, you have to hate him because he's a Muslim. You're not allowed to hate him for being a Zionist Satanist. Did you see any Republican channel saying that Obama is a Zionist? They all said he's a Muslim. And likewise, Trump, the Democrats say he's a Nazi. But why don't the Democrats attack Trump for being a Zionist? Why don't the Republicans attack Obama for being a Zionist? You see, so it's all part of the same narrative. Both sides are pushing the same narrative in reality. Even though it may sound different, the rhetoric is different, the narrative is the same.
And frankly, we're scared. We're scared of an Obama presidency.
First of all, I want to be president of the United States, and obviously I do not want Senator Obama to be. But I have to tell you, he is a decent person, and a person that you do not have to be scared as President of the United States. Now, look, if I didn't think I wouldn't be one heck of a lot better president, I wouldn't be running, okay? And that's the point. That's the point.
I got to ask you a question. I do not I can't trust Obama. I have read about him, and he's an Arab. He is not. No?
No, ma'am. He's a decent family man, citizen that I just happen to have disagreements with on fundamental issues, and that's what this campaign is all about. He's not. Thank you.
So you see, in response to her saying that Obama is an Arab, like Osama, McCain responded by saying that no, he is not. He is a decent man, implying that Arabs are bad or indecent people. You have to remember that all this political stuff on the media is staged and fake. This was all planned in advance. This is the final part of the agenda where they try to make you reject your fitra, to feel ashamed of your fitra. You see, first they make a copy of the fitrah, then they try to convince you that what you feel in your heart, in your fitrah, in your soul is bad, and what Satan offers you is good. In other words, the complete rejection of the fitrah and replacing it with clear kufr. Like when Obama tried to convince you that Bush's wars against the Muslims are good, that homosexuality is good, that censorship is good, that GMOs are good, despite everything he had said initially. This is also what most religious sects do. First, they try to convert you by convincing you that they are the good guys because they supposedly believe in and do all the things that you consider to be good. So when you say, I like this, I believe this, they say, yeah, we believe the same things, come on, join us. And they've actually done this with me many times, both Sufis and Shias and many other religious groups. They say, oh, yeah, we believe the same thing, come on, join us. But then later, they say that all that matters is blind obedience to their clergy, to their rabbis, to their priests, to their so-called ayatollahs, to their Sufi sheikhs. Not actually being a good person. Only obedience is the only thing that you need to do. Obedience becomes the definition of goodness or righteousness. Watch my video about the story of Ibrahim alayhi salam allegedly trying to slaughter his son, for example, as well as taqlid in Shiism and Sufism, the popes, the rabbis, and the gurus. This is the tactic that they use, and it's similar to the tactic used on the media. It's the same thing basically. First they copy the fitrah, then they try to make you feel bad, like you're a criminal, you're a bad person, you're a horrible person if you follow your fitrah. After they convert you by copying it, after they get you to support the Democratic Party or whatever religion by copying your fitrah, you see?
And by all the Bush Pentagon officials and generals who have kept their jobs under Obama. In the middle of a recession, with millions of Americans losing their jobs and homes, Obama has increased the military budget. In Colombia, he is planning to spend $46 million on a new military base that will support a regime backed by death squads and further the tragic history of Washington's intervention in that region.
If I had told you that we would open up a new chapter with the Cuban people, shut down Iran's nuclear weapons program without firing a shot, take out the mastermind of 9/11, if I had told you that we would win marriage equality and secure the right to health insurance for another 20 million of our fellow citizens, if I had told you all that, you might have said our sights were set a little too high. But that's what we did. That's what you did. You were the change.
President Obama, he wrote, does one thing and brand Obama gets you to believe another. This is the essence of successful advertising. You buy or do what the advertiser wants because of how they make you feel.
By almost every measure, America is a better, stronger place than it was when we started.
And this is what I've been explaining from part 1 of this video, that it was all about changing you, to change your opinion. It wasn't about changing the government. The government remains the same regardless of who is elected. The government has been the same since 1776. Since the new secular order was established, the world government has been the same. They're trying to just convince you that everything that you were against the government for, that you were wrong. It was about changing you. It was about changing your opinion about Zionism. It was about getting anti-Zionist people to become pro-Zionist, anti-homosexual people to become pro-homosexual, anti-abortion people to become pro-abortion, anti-war people who were against the wars against the Muslims, they became pro-war. That's what all these politicians are doing, not just Obama in the United States, but George Galloway in the UK and in Iran. In every country, this is the tactic they use. It was all about changing you. They say they're going to change the government, but they wanted to change you. And it was about changing you. Basically, to sum it up, it was about changing you into a Satanist. You were the change. And it's interesting because that's what the Kabbalah is all about. Kabbalah is all about change. It's all about changing you. The Kabbalist Jews, the Kabbalist Zionists, the Kabbalist Satanists, they always say that you're not supposed to change the world. You're supposed to change yourself so that you will conform with all the evil that's going on in the world. So that you will conform with it. So that you will accept it. So that you will enjoy being evil. Not that you have to stop evil. Not that you have to fight evil. No. You have to change yourself so that you will accept the evil. So that you yourself will become evil.
When I first came to the Kabbalah Center, I was raring to go 23 years ago. I said to the Rav, take all my money. I want to change the world. Let's do it. I'll dedicate everything. 5 years later, I lost everything, and then I realized I didn't come here to change the world. The world doesn't need me to change the world. And the Rav told me as he washed the floor with me and got rid of my ego, the Rav said, you came to change yourself.
The Zohar is here. Everybody knows the word Kabbalah. Once we reach a critical mass of people who will transform, who lose the ego, who will take a little bit of that pain, and some take a little bit, some will take a lot. When we reach that magic number, everything changes. So when I first found out that I'm really not here to change the world, because I came gung-ho, I'll give you my money, I'll give you everything. I really want to change the world. When I found out, I came to change myself.
But that's what we did. That's what you did. You were the change. You were the change. You were the change. You were the change. I committed to President-elect Trump that my administration would ensure the smoothest possible transition, just as President Bush did for me. The laid-off factory worker, the waitress or healthcare worker who's just barely getting by and struggling to pay the bills, convinced that the game is fixed against them, that their government only serves the interests of the powerful. That's a recipe for more cynicism and polarization in our politics. That's why we've ended torture, worked to close Gitmo. If I had told you that we would win marriage equality and secure the right to health insurance for another 20 million of our fellow citizens, if I had told you all that, you might have said, our sights were set a little too high. But that's what we did. That's what you did. You were the change.
You see, Obama didn't fulfill any of the promises that he had made during the elections, any of the good things that he had said that he was going to do. He has promised to do so many good things. And I saw right through it, but the people who supported him, they thought that he was going to do all these amazing things, all these great things, and he didn't do any of them. But now he's gloating about how, if I had told you that I can legalize gay marriage, you wouldn't have believed me because it's such a great thing. But the funny thing is that this is actually the one thing that he had not promised he was going to do. But not only, it's not just that he didn't promise that he's going to do this. He had actually promised to do the opposite. So it's not like people didn't think that, he just didn't promise this great thing. No, he promised the opposite. People actually supported him for the opposite reason. People supported Obama because they thought that he's a religious, pro-Muslim, pro-Christian, righteous person who believes in traditional marriage, religious marriage, real marriage. That's why they supported him. You see, but Obama is trying to say that if I had told you that I can do this amazing thing like legalizing gay marriage, you wouldn't have believed me. You wouldn't believe that I can accomplish such a great thing that you all want. But did you want that when you supported Obama in 2007, 2008? Is that what you wanted? Is that why you supported him? No. And the people who supported him back then supported him because he said the exact opposite. Literally the opposite. So it's not that he was simply silent on this issue. No, he said the opposite of it.
You know, I'm not in favor of gay marriage.
What I believe is that marriage is between a man and a woman.
As far as why, what in your religious faith calls you to be against gay marriage?
What I believe in my faith is that a man and a woman, when they get married, are performing something before God. I believe that marriage is the union between a man and a woman. Now, for me as a Christian, it's also a sacred union. God's in the mix.
On Monday, June 1st of 2009, President Barack Obama made an official proclamation declaring June to be the National Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, and Transgender Pride Month, or LGBT for short. Obama proclaimed that he was proud to be the first president to appoint openly LGBT candidates to Senate-confirmed positions.
You will see a time in which we as a nation finally recognize relationships between two men or two women as just as real and admirable as relationships between a man and a woman. That's why I support ensuring that committed gay couples have the same rights and responsibilities afforded to any married couple in this country. This struggle has been long. Time and again we faced opposition. Time and again the measure was defeated or delayed, but the shepherds never gave up. They turned tragedy into an unshakable commitment. Countless activists and organizers never gave up. You held vigils, you spoke out. Year after year, Congress after Congress, the House passed the bill again this week, and I can announce that after more than a decade, this bill is set to pass, and I will sign it into law.
The clever young man who recently made it to the White House is a very fine hypnotist, partly because it is indeed extraordinary to see an African American at the pinnacle of power in the land of slavery. However, this is the 21st century, and race, together with gender and even class, can be very seductive tools of propaganda. Obama's very presence in the White House appears to reaffirm the moral nation. He's a marketing dream.
I have cooperated with the Chicago Police Department on this matter by providing them the telephone numbers I was using during the fall of 2007. And I release them now publicly in the hope that someone may be able to connect the dots between these telephone numbers and Mr. Young. In what I now realize was a naive and uncounseled decision, I posted in January 2008 a video on YouTube where I related the above information regarding my liaisons with Senator Obama in 1999.
And do you think that the country will see the United States will see the first gay president or the first woman president?
We already have it with Obama, so let's just calm down.
Got it.
You know Michelle is a trans...
I'm sorry, she's a what?
A transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
I'm a proponent of pay as you go. Every dollar that I've proposed an additional cut so that it matches. And I want to go through the federal budget line by line, page by page. Programs that don't work, we should cut. Programs that we need, we should make them work better. And that's why today I'm pledging to cut the deficit we inherited by half by the end of my first term in office. We are going to ban all earmarks, the process by which individual members insert pet projects.
By ending no-bid contracts, by eliminating wasteful spending, we can save billions of dollars by cutting private contractors and improving management and oversight of hundreds of billions of dollars that our government spends on contracts. And I'll finally end the abuse of no-bid contracts once and for all. The days of sweetheart deals for Halliburton will be over when I'm in the White House. We'll finally end the abuse of no-bid contracts once and for all. The days of sweetheart deals for Halliburton and the like will be over when I'm in the White House. The way Bush has done it over the last 8 years is to take out a credit card from the Bank of China in the name of our children, driving up our national debt from $5 trillion for the first 42 presidents. Number 43 added $4 trillion by his lonesome, so that we now have over $9 trillion of debt that we are going to have to pay back. $30,000 for every man, woman, and child. That's irresponsible. It's unpatriotic. I am absolutely confident that we can choose our own economic destiny. We can choose another 4 years with the same reckless fiscal policies that George Bush has implemented, taking our national debt from $5 trillion to over $9 trillion in the span of 8 years, mortgaging our children's future on a mountain of debt, or we can restore some fiscal responsibility in Washington. We can, yes we can.
I mean, the debt ceiling, that's a formality. Historically, this has not even been an issue. It's an unpleasant vote, but it's been a routine vote that Congress does periodically.
The truth is that compared to other countries around the world, our deficit problems are completely manageable. And I could not get Republicans to go ahead and say, you're right.
Notice the tactic? When he contradicts himself, he says that people who disagree with his policies are Republicans, even though the Republicans were against his promises that he made in 2007. In other words, he promised to be different from the Republicans before he became president, but later he did the same things as George Bush, but then implies that anyone who is against what he is doing is a Republican. In other words, if you don't like it, support a Republican candidate in the next election. Don't try to revolt and bring down the entire government. No, wait for a Republican to bring change again. If you don't like my policies. Even though his policies were the same as the Republicans. The only difference was his promises that he made in 2007. But what he did during the 8 years of his presidency were Republican policies. You see, this is how the deception of democracy works.
We are 5 days away from fundamentally transforming the United States of America. The last thing we should do is raise taxes on the middle class. You will not see your taxes increase one single dime. You will not see your taxes increase a single dime. I repeat, not one single dime.
Under this mandate, the government is forcing people to spend money, fining you if you don't. How is that not a tax?
Because when I'm president, meetings where laws are written will be more open to the public, no more secrecy. That's a commitment I make to you as president. I'll make our government open and transparent so that anyone can ensure that our business is the people's business.
But these negotiations will be on C-SPAN. And so the public will be part of the conversation.
We're going to do all these negotiations on C-SPAN. So the American people will be able to watch these negotiations.
You know, I respect the fact that Senator Clinton and President Clinton attempted in '93 to get health care reform passed. But I do think that they did it in the wrong way because it was behind closed doors and we did not enlist the American people in the process.
When there's a bill that ends up on my desk as president, you, the public, will have 5 days to look online and find out what's in it before I sign it. So that you know what your government's doing.
Let me say it as simply as I can. Transparency and the rule of law will be the touchstones of this president.
Since taking office, this has been the administration that's prosecuted more whistleblowers in 2 years than in the preceding 40 years. That meets with lobbyists across the street from the White House so they don't have to disclose their meeting with lobbyists, and, this is true, censored nearly 200 pages of internal emails about their efforts to make government more transparent.
That means no more illegal wiretapping of American citizens. No more national security letters to spy on citizens who are not suspected of a crime. No more tracking citizens who do nothing more than protest a misguided war. No more ignoring the law when it is inconvenient.
When Congress offers you a bill, do you promise not to use presidential signage to get your way?
Yes. I believe in the Constitution, and I will obey the Constitution of the United States. We're not going to use signing statements as a way of doing an end run around Congress. They will not work in my White House, and they will not drown out the voices of the American people when I am president. Tell the lobbyists in Washington that their days of setting the agenda are over. They have not funded my campaign. They will not work in my White House.
Just this weekend, the New York Times published a list of names, a rather long list of names of people who are working on Obama's transition team or who have accepted jobs in his White House, who are either former lobbyists or who have close ties to lobbyists.
Thank you, everybody. Yes, we did. Yes, we can. God bless America. Yes, we did. Yes, we can. God bless America.
ونحن نقول للأمة الأمريكية انتخبوا من تشاءون بوش أو كيري أو الشيطان الرجيم نفسه.
I want to just make mention of the horrific attacks that took place in Jerusalem. We know that two attackers senselessly and brutally attacked innocent worshipers in a synagogue during their morning prayers. Obviously, we condemn in the strongest terms these attacks.
I will promise you this, that if we have not gotten our troops out by the time I am president, it is the first thing I will do. I will get our troops home. We will bring an end to this war. You can take that to the bank.
Meanwhile, President Obama has ordered 17,000 more American troops to Afghanistan. It's the first stage of a build-up that will eventually see 60,000 U.S. troops deployed to the country.
The U.S. president has revealed his plan for Afghanistan, escalating the war at the fastest possible pace.
It is in our vital national interest to send an additional 30,000 U.S. troops to Afghanistan.
You roll into Baghdad, every single big apartment building is blown up. Every single apartment building in Baghdad has been broken to the ground by artillery and airplanes bombing. You cannot meet someone in Iraq who has not lost a family member. Could you imagine what we had done in America if in 9/11 everybody in America lost a family member? What would we be doing? Would we be talking about war? No, we'd be in the streets with weapons. And so people talk about, oh, these people killing American soldiers in Iraq, they're terrorists. Not terrorists, they're wearing sandals. And they got an AK. And they got 14-year-old boys building bombs to kill these American soldiers because we killed their family.
I feel guilt anytime I see a mother with her children, like the one who cried hysterically and screamed that we are worse than Saddam as we forced her from her home. I feel guilt anytime I see a young girl, like the one I grabbed by the arm and dragged into the street. We were told we were fighting terrorists. The real terrorist was me, and the real terrorism is this occupation.
I won't even talk to politicians about the war, because there ain't no point in it. Democrat, Republican, they're all profiteers of war.